what denoted the time in which the baton of the Holy Roman Empire passed to the United States?
After World War I, that was it, because the United States came in to help. It had this huge country with unlimited resources. There was no competition. They had found a paradise here. And so they helped because the English were and the French were losing.
Right.
And that's why they went into the Middle East. And they decided to divide up the Middle East. And that's when they decided to give Israel a chance to have Palestine, and they could pay off debts in that way. And then later on, have a free zone for their trade so they could take Iraq and other places and pass their oil and through there without obstacle.
But so the Holy Roman Empire, this is not so holy an empire, okay? Yeah, the Holy Roman part of it, I understand what you're saying, this patriarchal period of history that's very wound up in resources and banking and politics and treachery, which is very similar to the Roman Catholic Church itself.
Yeah,
that is
they're all, it's human groups, basically.
Right, human groups.
Human groups.
So what are the implications, and does this tie back into the Mayan race story in terms of the red race
of the
Americas?
Yes.
And was this foreseen that the baton of the end of patriarchy would really land here?
Yes.
Does it end here in America?
No.
Where does it go next?
We have a lot of other regions to consider.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Okay.
We have it right now.
Yeah.
Where does it go next from what you understand at this point?
The red region, according to Edgar Cayce, and now I find verified in the Hopi testimony.
Okay.
These regions are because the colors of the races are not by accident. And as Cayce said, it's not about race per se, it's about a spiritual vibration that has come from where they were born, where they started. Mm-hmm. So the land has programmed them in the way that the intelligence wanted them to be programmed, with the destiny of coming together.
Okay, so if we're speaking now of his testimony of the red race, Edgar Cayce's testimony, let's just keep going and we'll just weave it all together.
Okay.
What was his profound testimony of the red race?
He said that the red race is the one
that's the Americas,
that is connected
correct?
In the Americas.
Mm-hmm.
He said the Americas and Atlantis.
And Atlantis, okay.
And the red race is the one, the red is the color of feeling. It's all based on the five senses, the five areas, 5 different senses. And it's the craziest thing I ever read. But I got into it. My wife dragged me into it. Women do that with men. They go to meetings that they never thought they would go to.
And then you're wearing a little tin hat.
And all the Adam and Eve stories, the women are the curious ones.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So continue on with this notion of Edgar Cayce's perception and testimony of the red race, which is the Americas and Atlantis. Yes. And I want to add something quickly. People who do hypnosis work, intuitive work, and past life journeying, it's often brought up that the actual skin color of one of the races in Atlantis was quite red, very red, that they had actual red skin as well. And I've heard this from many different people who don't know each other, who've been back into regressions into Atlantean times.
And so there were American, Cayce talked about the arrival of pioneers from Atlantis. It was a long process of their fall and their sinking. And so they sent out expeditions all over the place.
This is not understood. People think that whatever Plato brought forward was really it, that Atlantis was a corrupt society that sank 12,000 years ago. Not very many people go into the depth of the history, the long period of history, and the multiple cataclysms of Atlantis and lowering of knowledge and frequency.
Yes, they said that it finally went down in around 13,000 years ago. And that's a Mayan American Indian number.
Okay, good. Then it's 13. Very close with everybody else's that are coming up with their
and that's why we have
data.
That's why we have 13. We had 13 colonies, and now Canada has 13 territories and provinces altogether. There's no error.
No error. So okay. Now setting all that up, what did Edgar Cayce have to say about the red race? And then I want to go on this trajectory of where this baton goes. I was kind of hoping it'd end here.
Well, it took me to something else. The baton always moves west, he said.
So it has to go to Asia now. That's the next stop.
That's his.
China.
That's what.
According to Vedic astrology, it's China.
I'm not sure. I can only say what's happening, and it's the Western countries themselves that develop China.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.